Here we go again. Nick Rekieta can't stay offline. He just can't. He just can't. So he's tweeting. He's tweeting a lot about his case, of course, right? So I just happened to notice he's replying to Dick Masterson, who's like saying things about the case, I guess, for whatever reason. I don't know. That's not a friend, if you ask me, but, you know, no one did. So we go down to, I'm in his replies right now. And he just replied 3 minutes ago, but this is new. Alyssa Saxon said, why not just provide the proof so you can get your kids back? And you literally video your life and post it publicly already. Stupid me, though. And Nick Rekieta replies, it's not proof that will get my kids back. That's what you're missing. It does not address any of the state's concerns or accusations. Too many people pretending to know what's happening. Okay. Parsnip Legate says, I assume they also want you to feed and clothe your children. Now we get this clip. And you're absolutely BS lying. Oh, because that's the quote that he said to the cop when he got pulled over in April. So it's funny. All right. So we have Dick Masterson. It's even more likely social services got a false positive and just left it as is to use as leverage against Nick. But why? You'll notice he revoked his own test in the same report. Currently, the state has no evidence Nick did any drugs. They'll use his kids to try and get it. So this person, Lockhope, says, and there are more replies, but he doesn't reply until this point. Lockhope says, I don't know about you. Well, now I do, but I would do a drug test for the government every day if it meant my kids being with me or in foster care. I mean, I have to do a drug test for my job. I got the request at 5 p.m. on Friday. I'm going Monday morning. Like, why would, you know, whatever. And that's for a job. Like, it's not for, like, children, you know. I don't know how long that stays in your system. You know, cocaine or whatever is being used allegedly. But yeah, I would think you would want to detox as quickly as possible and submit all the tests. But I'm not Nick Rekieta, so. Why not provide exculpatory evidence like a clean hair test? Probably because you can't get one. Nick Rekieta replies, I am literally doing drug tests. A clean hair test isn't exculpatory. I'm not charged with being intoxicated. That's true. I'm not even accused of being intoxicated. True. I'm accused of possession. Learn your words. And Lockhope replied, but he doesn't reply again. But are you showing those results to CPS to try to get your kids out of foster care? You've already proved you're smarter than me. I may not know big law daddy words like you, but I have my kids tucked safely in their beds at night, and my kids can pass a drug test. Okay. But there's more, of course. There's more. So we have the Midnight King. Government has all the evidence they need. All this crap isn't about the government. It's about a junkie in denial, a free speech supremacist who censors all his super chats and lets EVS ban randos while laughing. Everyone sees you, Baldo man. It's over. Nick Rekieta replies, I didn't censor any chats. Mods did. I have no idea what people censored or why. And during his live stream, he did say that he trusts his mods basically to block anything that reveals personal information. And that's pretty much it. That's all I think they were supposed to be blocking, which, you know, makes sense. But apparently a lot of things were blocked from his live stream, including super chats, like people that were paying to have their chat read, and they were removed. So LMAO, they work for you, though, and when people were pointing out in chat that the mods were going overboard, since a lot of what they censored did not have private information, you didn't do anything about it. Good thing Nick never lies. Guys, it was Nick's mods who neglected his kids and got his child on coke. Nick didn't know. Man, you have to be a junkie to believe this. Did you keep the money for the censored super chats? I can answer that question. I've been a monetized YouTuber for 6 years now. If you delete a super chat, you do still get the money. You do. So, okay, that answers that. Typical manga fan says you did talk to the cops, though, by waiving your Miranda rights twice. Sure, you didn't give them all the information they wanted, but you definitely gave more than none. Nick Rekieta replies, oh my god, thanks for telling me. Someone had to, apparently. And Leroy says, stop replying to comments. You've ruined your family enough. Shut the F up, go offline, and try to humble yourself. Your ego got you here, and you need to wipe that ish away before you have any chance of fixing things with your family. A little misworded, but we get the point. Okay. Why not just make evidence for the government? Nick, every statement and rant you make is producing evidence for the government. Congratulations, you played yourself. CPS is trying to ensure the safety of your children, but hey, we can all draw conclusions why you revoked that info. He replies, yes, everyone gets to draw their conclusions. That's exactly what I said on my live stream. I don't owe you shit. That's the fun part of being accused by government. They get to say whatever, but whatever you say could put you in prison. This is 16 minutes ago. He's actively tweeting. It's great. I don't know why you're online then. I love how you talk about your care without talking about it. Can you send me the medallion? If you don't owe us, then why do you keep spouting it? It's a good question. And Lockhope says that must be all in people's imaginations. Nick Rekieta replies, the government has not claimed or alleged it. So yeah, it is. She tested positive. Lockhope says more charges to come. Can you confirm, do you currently have a charge of child neglect against you? When are you returning to YouTube, dog? Why is your kid using a serving spoon for their cereal? Okay. This person, he replies to this person, Alyssa. Okay, you volunteered a hair follicle test to MMI, which is the Minnesota... It's in the report. It's basically a lab. To MMI a week after your arrest. That's clarified. But if it was negative, why not just release it even after the fact? He replies, why not just make evidence for the government? Okay, dipshit, why not just consent to a search if you aren't guilty? Why not just talk to cops if you aren't guilty? Why not just video your life and send it to the government for review? What do you have to hide, citizen? I get his point in general, absolutely. Just because you have nothing to hide, it doesn't mean that you need to open your entire life to any agency. You don't have to. They should have, you know, they should have a search warrant if they're coming into your home, which they did. Yeah, you know, but I get his point here in general, but we're talking about his 5 children are in foster care. If you have a negative test, why wouldn't you be pulling that out and showing everybody? Like, hey, yeah, I went through a bad time, but as soon as, like, it was a wake-up call. My house got raided, essentially. My kids are not here. And I woke up and I stopped everything. And have a clean test. Why wouldn't you? Okay. So we did read those replies. Order stated that he did a hair test upon arrest. If that was negative, then yeah, it put some folks on the table for not being honest. He replied, I did not do a hair test upon arrest. I was not tested upon arrest. I didn't have that information either. I don't know where this is coming from. I didn't see that. I revoked consent to release information to the government about a test that I was not ordered to take. The government has no right to the results of that test, and no one should give government anything they don't have a right to. I revoked consent before the test results were available and had no knowledge of what they may be. Okay, I mean, listen, my test on Monday, I know what the results are going to be. Okay, I'm not worried about it. Evie Warner says, well, you could do a breakdown of the document with appropriate info redacted and walk people through it. I read, and I'm happy to listen to you explain what part I apparently misread. Midnight King, you did this even though it would interfere with getting your kids back. What a great dad. Totally a guy who could work at Walmart to feed his family. You hurt your children, says Belle. Now they're in the foster care system. You did this. We've all watched your downward spiral. What it is grow up, sober up, and take responsibility. And Lockhope says, but if your clean hair test showed that you weren't using drugs, wouldn't that go a long way in your children not living in a foster home? Good Lord, dude, your poor wife. How can a mother sit home without kids and allow you to use this constitutional bullshit? We have not seen Kayla. We haven't seen her. For all we know, she could be inpatient right now receiving treatment. I mean, I hope so. But we have not seen her. We don't know where she is. But really, he doesn't need to be on Twitter explaining himself to the general public. You're no longer doing tests. Also, you were obviously on drugs. You could barely talk. He responds, I'm literally ordered to do tests in the order. R-word. Actually read the document you're referencing. I mean, I've read it several times. Then he talks again about the hair test. And someone does take a screen grab of Mr. Rekieta and Ms. Rekieta. Each submitted to a hair follicle drug test through Minnesota Monitoring Incorporated on May 30th. But they revoked their releases of information to the county. So they don't know what the test results are. Famous Groiper says, okay, I guess it's perfectly fine that you abuse your children then. No need to bury you underneath the prison like you deserve. He responds, there aren't any findings of abuse, not even an allegation of it on the record, only in people's imaginations. I mean, if we're just speaking in semantics, like, okay. I mean, neglect is abuse. Your child, your very, very minor child, not even a teenager, testing positive, and not just testing positive for exposure, but to the level of moderate, like ongoing usage is what that level was. Like a regular weekend user or a moderate user, like all the time. It's because it was a hair follicle test. It shows the last 90 days. It was ongoing. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It wasn't on top of her hair. These things take time, he says, and unfortunately we're stuck moving at the pace of government. The story will resolve in the end. I mean, yeah, it will. Typical manga fan says, so by the end, we'll find out that the cops planted those drugs on orders by Judge Fisher, who was so angry at your elevator rant, she decided to get back at you years later by ordering the cops to raid your cocaine-free house and lie that there were drugs there to arrest you. Stubby Toe says, this is probably the best thing you could have possibly said. Very lawyerly of you, Rackets. Parsnip Legade, your 9-year-old is on coke because you're a shit parent. And we have Honestly Reckless, a.k.a. something. A.k.a. okay. Makes sense to me. I think you're smart enough to know that if the worst of the allegations are true, your life is over. That said, everything I've seen on Kiwi Farms makes 0 sense. Good luck, Nick. Okay. Wouldn't the actual charge of child neglect be an allegation on the record? Okay, let's see what else. And here we go. Actually, this person, William Smith, you both were charged with neglect and currently don't have custody of your children. Stop the semantics. Exactly. And take care of your family properly. Hire someone to clean and maintain your house and get therapy, which will benefit you and your family. It's not that complicated. Agree. To me, this is not the time to be fighting for... I do get it. I do get it. You know, like, yeah, you don't want to, hey, you want to come, hey, come on in, CPS and police. Yeah, you want to have a cup of coffee? Come on in, have a look around. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I would never volunteer to have my car searched if I'm pulled over. Like, that's just dumb. I get that. But I think this just isn't the time to stand on that. They were in there. They saw everything. Big PP says, why didn't you let CPS enter your master bedroom? That was also a requirement to see your kids again, you filthy crackhead. Nick Rekieta says, it wasn't a requirement, and I did not prevent them from entering. In fact, I specifically asked them to inspect my entire house, which they have done. It's almost like a government worker lied. I called that government worker and their co-worker 10 times that morning to get them to my house. We were not doing a walkthrough, and they were not prevented access. One day, I get to tell this whole story. Really, when it comes down to it, when we see the body cams, if and when we do, I mean, it's either going to look the way that it says in the report, or it's going to look more the way that Nick Rekieta says, or somewhere in the middle, but I think that's really going to say a lot when we do see the body cams. Okay, no allegation of abuse. All right. So this is what grabbed my attention. This is what I first saw. So it was just this post from Dick Masterson. I never knew about him before Nick Rekieta. It doesn't seem like I would be a fan. If anyone is defending cuties or whatever, you know, probably not okay in my book. Just in general, I don't know much about him, but so I don't even know what this is, but Dick Masterson posted this yesterday. First name Cato, middle name Institute, and it's Gooding Logline, and it's just it looks like, I don't even know, some kind of fantasy fiction, something, right? But here's, because I don't follow Dick Masterson, but this is what I first saw that he was posting today. And it looks like he meant to say a brilliant mind, but, you know, brilliant mind in an attractive athletic body. Someone has been reading Ayn Rand instead of Googling the names on patent applications. Kimchi Enjoyer, it says, brilliant mind, starting the weekend early, are we? Go live and do fire sales. I guess it's just a better person than you ever were and ever will be. Enjoy prison, you child abuser. Live from the coke den. Why do you think your 9-year-old kid tested positive for cocaine? Why did you allow your 9-year-old child to supply you with cocaine? Don't you have some more coke to give to your kids or something? 9 years old, by the way. Congrats on winning Father of the Year. Put down the bottle, Nick. More like put away the line. Okay, so he doesn't reply to that after that. And this person later on replies, this was 2 hours ago, "You're a disgusting F. People like you don't deserve kids. Blaming the state for a conspiracy against you is typically deadbeat father behavior. I spit on your filthy name, Nick. Jack Murphy came out a better father at the end of the day. Always remember that." Nick Rekieta replies, "I haven't even alleged a conspiracy against me. Unless it's a conspiracy that the state has the burden to prove I'm guilty of their claims. Stop conflating other people's assertions with mine, please." Okay. This is a little mind-boggling right here. Parsnip Legate says, "Getting back to this convo, you're saying Nick's clean. Why not do the test then? Unless you admit he's a neglectful drug addict POS who wants, in your words, his kids to be foster care, having awful things happen to them. Rekieta Law says, if people actually read the order, which I did on my channel, you can go watch it again, you'll notice I did do a test, yeah, and submitted it to the court. It's under exhibits. Yeah, exhibit 0001 and 0002, the parents and the children. You'll also notice an absence of any finding of use because he revoked the release of information for the test results. That's why there's an absence of findings. The findings for the children is listed. It's hard to read all of a document, I know, but try. Dude. Ronnie says, bro, I thought you weren't talking about the case out of court. Okay, then we get back to why didn't you let CPS come in and check your bedroom? I mean, he's got an answer for everything. Why not? Yeah, I'm a nobody. Nick, what part of stay silent do you not understand? Can you post the test results? That would quash any questions. You revoked your ROI from the state. You could post it on Twitter, Kiwi Farms too. They would spread it everywhere. Let's see the proof. Dick Masterson. He's replying to another post of Dick Masterson. I think we're doing a bonus episode today. What's the biggest problem in prison? Rekieta Law says the hypocrisy is the worst part. Okay, so that's it thus far. And his last tweet was a reply 27 minutes ago. We've gone through all of them. It's pretty messed up. He just needs to stay quiet, and apparently he can't. Apparently that is very, very difficult for him. Very interesting. Some impulse control issues, I guess. But if you want to go ahead and follow Rekieta Law on X, formerly known as Twitter, he's at Rekieta Law. All right, everybody, that's the latest. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.